I've never been in this hotel. I've never been in here. I just realized that as I'm walking around going. And that's King Street West. Who knew? Who knew? Gift shop. I'm gonna go down there, but I want to see what's up here. Oh, look, downstairs. The whole situation. I want to go upstairs and see what's up here. Starbucks. It's there. I know that much. I always see Starbucks. I guess the TIFF has got a whole office situation going on up here. So let's see what it's like. Quebec at TIFF. It's Trend Film Industry. TIFF Information.
Other side. Sorry.
And then that is Sutton Place Hotel. Oh, Kenny in the Westinghouse building. Who knew? So this must have some. Magazines, but I don't want no paper. Look at this! Who knew? It's a whole scene up here. This is where spirit business happens. Spanish talent. What? Their movies are done. See, we got stuff here. Wow. Oh, can't go in there. Wow. It's like an international film office. All right. Interesting. It's interesting, right? So, whole international cinema, it looks like. Interesting. Indigenous storytellers. Nobody's out yet looking for me. maybe not. I'm just realizing this is the first time I've actually entered this building.
Oh, wow.
I've walked by, well, I've lived here for 47 years and I've walked by it forever. I never walked into it. No, I did. I went upstairs and then saw that there's a whole marketing thing.
Yeah.
So this is what the international, because it looks like it's mostly international, like I said, different languages, even being spoken around me.
This is the business. This is the industry center.
Right.
So one side, there are where you get your credentials.
Right.
Where you get your badge, but also there are some stands. There's an Africa stand. There's a black, local
Right.
stand.
Yeah.
Which include mainly Canadian initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're right. They're international.
Yeah.
There's Spain stand. There's a Chinese one.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So various,
Yeah.
cinemas
Right.
represented.
And would this be where deals are done as well, or deals are done everywhere?
They're everywhere, but this is a place where people can go and say to meet and then sit down. There are tables there. You can
Right, yeah.
sit down and talk about your projects. Or
Yeah.
usually these are more kind of introductory meetings. The deals are done maybe, if it's somebody is a film or production company or a distributor from outside, they may in fact have their own hotel room.
Ah, I see. Okay. Right. Wow. And then downstairs is just like amenities, right?
Well, there's a bar downstairs,
Yeah.
and I think that's where the bar is.
Yeah. Oh, right there. Yeah. Yes, it's more like a bathroom, chill out, work.
Right. And
Yeah.
there used to be, I think it's still there, the business center.
Oh, down there as well? Yeah.
Things have changed.
Oh, I see where you could
There
like
used to
plug
be
in and work.
a library where people could, DVDs were available, or streaming. You go to watch things and make an appointment to watch things there.
Wow.
And then now they don't have that anymore. They
Right.
have you
Do it online.
you could do it online and you get it directly from them.
Right. So that would be like if you're a part of the industry and you want to preview something and
Yes.
with the hopes of potentially distributing or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Or your film festival
Go or you
person
could.
too.
Okay.
No, not like there are quite a few people who are programmers for film festivals.
Right.
So if they couldn't make the industry screenings or the public screenings, then they had the flexibility to book time in the library to watch exactly what they wanted.
Right.
At their own time.
Wow. Who
So-
knew? So this is one of the appointed TIFF hotels.
Yes.
And this is one of a few around the city that.
But this is the official hotel where you get all your credentials.
Right.
So that's where people are gonna always pass through here,
Right.
one way or another, because they need to get their credentials.
Right.
And there used to be, when you get your credentials, you would get a bag, some swag,
Yeah.
a book, program book. They don't do that anymore. You have to buy your own.
Right.
And that's an interesting thing too, is that I went, because I always like to have them, I just like that. And I went to the store down the street and was told that, we don't print a whole lot of them. We have about, and this was Thursday. Yes, Thursday. And the salesperson said, we have about, 8 left. And, they didn't print that many and they're not going to print anymore. So I was like, boy, I was glad I got it. And then I told people who, my colleagues, if you want one of these, you better come over here and get it down.
Right.
And then they found some more, but there's a few left. There's a pop-up store next to the the regular store, and they have some catalog, some program books. But I was told then it's like, well, by the end of the day, they'll all be gone too. So I was like,
right.
and then I cheap. It's like 55.
Ah,
No, it was more. I was more than that.
oh my God, I remember when they were free.
Yeah, they were
All over the city, you just grab them, and then that's the way we.
No, I
checked
mean
to
the
see.
real, the
thick one, yeah.
They were free.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Oh.
Because you just pick them up all over the place. You just go and grab them, or when you walk into the festival, they hand them to you. Do you remember that?
The 300-page book.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember that?
I mean, I got
The
it.
catalog.
The catalog
With all
yeah.
the films.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even remember, somebody said, "Oh, did you get a catalog?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if they put them in." So I'm glad you're saying this. I don't remember because remember we used to get them, and I don't remember paying for them. You used to get them and flip. Did you paid for them when you always remembered paying for them?
No, because they would be, I would get them.
As part of your registration, right?
Yeah, part of my registration.
Unless I could be misremembering.
Well, I know they had the smaller ones that had a lot of that had the descriptions.
Maybe.
But do you want to show you what? Maybe if we're talking about the same thing, you can we can sort of say that's what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? Where are we heading?
Where are we going? Yeah.
Yeah, well, wherever you, where I'm good, I'm easy. What do you said something around here. I mean, I know of a few places that aren't far away. They're in the neighborhood on Queen or just around.
Fine. Yeah,
right, there's Alouette on Spadina. There's Planta, which is vegetarian specifically.
Okay, is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, it's right up there at Queen, and it's the hot restaurant. But I mean, I'd have to see if we can get reservations because I know it's a very busy one.
Okay.
And then there's, of course, even better, there's a food hall just over. There's a Ace Hotel that has the Alder restaurant in it as well.
Okay.
And then right across there's a food hall that has all kinds of different really great options too, which
Okay.
might be an interesting thing.
So you want me to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you'd like because then there's options. You can get what you want, I can get what I want, whatever.
Cool.
And they have good seating areas, and there's a bar if you want to drink or
And
something.
doing it there for dinner time here?
Oh yeah, it's a food hall. Like there's always food. It's always
Oh,
they're always open
okay.
doing different things.
Okay.
And worst comes to worst, there's lots of spaces on the way or back or whatever.
That's cool.
All right.
All right.
So yeah. Oh, and I was gonna ask you since in my little video here, since you're one of the subjects now, is so did COVID impact a lot of that? Like in terms of not publishing the book anymore, even the structure. Have you noticed a difference in terms of?
Well, COVID, I think it hit the festival economically.
Right.
So there wasn't the money that there was before.
Right.
And people didn't come. For at least a couple years, they were doing things online too there, and so people were registering online,
Right.
but they weren't getting as much from the
revenue.
registration.
Yeah.
Revenue, and they weren't getting the ticket sales.
Right.
So this year, I really feel like that there are a lot. There's a kind of excitement and crowds and everything. In fact, one of the reasons I just got to you when I got to you was because I had to wade through this crowd on King Street
Right.
to get to here.
Wow.
Because there was some celebrity, people were waving at. I heard something. Samuel Jackson's there too. That kind of thing. But so it was just like you couldn't really go through.
Right.
So packed. And I don't think I remember that last year. As much.
Right. And more stars are coming as well. Traveling
There's
back
that too.
and-
Yeah. I mean, so
Right.
when COVID, for a lot of people at TIFF, it's going to be the celebrities,
Yeah.
and the studios weren't, I don't think were springing for them to bring them as much as they,
Right.
did before COVID.
Yeah.
But it's in the context of, I mean, TIFF is not the only film festival that this is happening to.
Right.
And the other film festivals around the world are struggling too. TIFF is because has its own venue. So that's great. I mean, the Lightbox. And so they have at least that,
Right.
and then they have the Scotiabank, but some of the other places that they used to have, they don't have those anymore.
Right.
But festivals in other places, like San Francisco, for example, some of the venues are just not available.
Right.
So it's economic hard times, which all goes into not making a lot of things free,
Right.
and not printing these books. They didn't.
Right.
That what I was told that they didn't print that many. It's sort of the economics of that. If you're going to print some, you do a print run of at least a certain amount, and then you say the rest. You're not going to have any. But I don't know how many they actually printed.
Right.
But
Yeah, and I was gonna say to you, one of the things that they make a big thing about in Toronto, anyway, at least to us here, is that the difference with this festival is it's very much fan based. It's very much whereas other festivals aren't necessarily, right? No. And that's your experience as well.
Yeah, it's accessible. I mean, there are people, there's the public,
right?
Excitement. There's more volunteers here, and and who want. I mean, there's the whole thing. There's the joke thing where they have the trailer, where they have people in the public giving their opinions about, giving these film critic, and scholarly ideas about the film, so they're knowledgeable. So yeah, I think that's the difference. And as the big the only festivals I've been to that have been I've been to Cannes once, and that's not really friendly to the public. Very policed. People have to, after 5 o'clock. I mean, at least the time that I went there, maybe other times, you have to dress up, or they don't let you in. I mean, dress up. I mean, evening wear, tux, and evening gowns.
Right.
So I mean, people will dress up. I mean, that the woman there is really dressed up behind you.
You mean like shiny?
But they're not. People will. Yeah, maybe people will use it as an opportunity, but they're not. It's not a mandatory.
Right.
And yeah, it's. I mean, there are celebrities here, but it's also a public, a public that's knowledgeable. I mean, I've heard conversations with people online who will talk about not just the movie stars, but they'll mention the directors, or the country it's from. So it's a cosmopolitan audience.
Right. And
and a lot of people, a lot of packed.
Right.
Things selling out.
And so far, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Sundance is a whole. It's a destination thing. You have to fly there. Usually it's a ski resort. It's expensive to go there and stay. It's cold. And the theaters aren't right next to each other.
Right.
This is compact, and things are walkable, which is very make things very accessible and not prohibitive for people.
And who are you in relationship to the festival? How would you describe yourself?
Now, I mean, I have been a distributor, looking for documentaries, particularly African films. That's why I was initially coming. And for a distributor that I was working with for many years, and an African film distribution project that I founded and worked with for years, and then
that's California
Newsreel. And now, because I'm still associated with California Newsreel, I'm more doing my thing as a programmer and curator, and advisor to festivals and other programs. That's why I come.
And your name is?
My name's Cornelius Moore.
Okay. And so, at this festival this year, what have you seen so far that you went, that really hit you? And that's
well. Then there's the stuff that I liked and the things that I could use.
Right.
The things I liked. I mean, you put me on the spot because I don't remember the titles anymore. I really don't. Hard Truth.
The film
by Mike Lee.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite film.
Yes.
What
What made it your favorite film? I'm curious.
Huh?
What made it your favorite film?
I enjoyed it. It was a guilt. It was a pleasure.
Right.
And you know, it's not something that I would. The festivals that I talk to or advise, the timing would be off. It's going to be released in December. So I just wanted to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I laughed through it, because the main character is somebody who is depressed and has OCD and angry and in a way that's it's played in such a way that, I mean, if you were in her life, really it might be difficult, but as on the screen, it's like there's some humor there, and the acting is just really good. I mean, I'm not from a Caribbean background, but this is a Caribbean family, a Black Caribbean family, and it just felt, from what I could see, real, and people had told me from that background that that there were similarities. It was just really, really well acted.
Wonderful.
And also compassionate. I mean, I think you get to, beneath all this, there's somebody who's in pain, even though they're lashing out at other people, that they themselves have been hurt.
Yeah.
And that's something you can learn from movies. I was kind of reflecting on my own family background, it's like, if I had the distance and could see, seeing this, I could sort of see, what was happening on with some situations, family situations, that was going on.
Yeah.
And have the patience and not not in it. Being an audience member, you can see, some distance.
You make me think of my mother one day standing in her bedroom screaming. And we all, what, Mom, what's happening? Like we thought something happened, right? And then she just stood there screaming as kids were saying, and then she stopped, and then she just went on with her day. And the whole time we thought she was nuts, but I saw some of the previews, the trailers for the film, so I have a little sense of it. And I'm with you around understanding what you're saying about, when I can't wait to see the film myself, that it probably will give us a lot of insight into particularly Black women, older Black with lots of responsibility, and of course my mom being a Caribbean mom and all of those kinds of things. The layers of immigration and safety of your family and your children and all those kinds of things that you carry. Because, yes, there are men who parent and sometimes are sole parents, but overwhelmingly women carry that weight, right, as particularly in the Black communities, right? Yeah.
And there's narcissism in this character too. I mean, all those things.
My mom. And you kind of think maybe they have to be sort of slightly to survive.
Yeah. But in a movie you can sort of suss out what the background to some of this stuff is. In your family, it's harder to, because it's rare you're going to have those spaces to say, so what really happened, and why are you? And they may not be able to, and this character doesn't necessarily able to explain why they were the way they were.
Right.
But a film can help you see that, because it's not going to come out in the dialogue necessarily.
And also, we in the family, we're in also the dynamic.
The dynamic.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So, anything else you saw that?
Oh yeah. I like this film from Somalia called Village Near Paradise, or Not Far from Paradise. Very, very good film. I like that a lot. It was also sort of family story about a man who makes his money a lot of different ways, driving trucks, but also being a grave digger, and he needing money to do that. He sends his son to school in a residential school, and his son didn't particularly want it, but and he has a relation. The son develops a relationship with his aunt. It's very complicated, but also in the context of the film begins with drone strikes in Somalia. So it's people who are dealing with all these different things, poverty and drone strikes, and the kids learning in school what to do when a drone is coming, and a drone coming from the United States, my country. And then there's some films from Nollywood that are good, really good, about Freedom Way, looking at police brutality, which I think is it's a big issue in a lot of places, but I think in Nigeria especially. So over the years, sort of seeing Nollywood go from being kind of soap opera-ish,
Yes, that.
family dramas,
Yeah.
and not that that's not part of this, but it's also dealing with social issues
Yeah.
using that formula and format.
Right, right.
So coming here and seeing, over time, at least in that case, a Nollywood developing as an industry
Right.
and transforming. So, yeah, I guess the Brazilian film I like called "I'm Still Here" about during the early years of or maybe the 70s, the dictatorship, late 60s in Brazil, and the impact on people being arrested and disappeared.
Right. Right.
So, it's, people. Those kind of histories are important for people to know.
Cool. I mean, I saw, as you know, Can I Get a Witness by Henry Fleming, and I was just like, yeah, it's quite a affecting film. I mean, the storyline, ultimately it's about, the climate change, but it's also about social issues, but it's, what I love about how it's done, you're actually watching a movie, and it takes you a while because you don't get it all right away. So I love those kinds of films when, why is this happening? Why are they doing? Because initially the storyline is that, they're going around, and you're not sure what they're doing. It's like it's almost like you're thinking they're missionaries. Like there's like a mission, and at one moment you think, are they like Mormons? She's got to go with this guy, and he's kind of training her. And then when you realize what they're actually doing, and how it's connected to the climate crisis, and kind of and why they got to having to live the way they do, related to flooding in the world, fires, temperature rising, wars, conflicts, so on. And then it hits you at some point as you watch the film, that's actually happening right now.
Yeah, right.
And there's some, and a critical decision was made societally that then is driven home. That's all I say about it, because so it's still with me. And I think I hope she gets distributed, because I think it will be a conversation piece for years to come about how prescient it is in terms of this current moment. Right? And brilliantly acted.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So if I have time, I'll try to see it.
Yeah.
But I just came from a conversation with Raoul Peck and his latest film, Ernest Cole, a South African photographer who documented apartheid in the early 60s, maybe late 50s. And because he came out with a book on that, and he's a black photographer, he went into exile, because that basically, I think he would have been imprisoned, and certainly his work would have been banned if it wasn't not banned. And so it's from his using his own words and his own images, is telling his story and what happened to him when he left and lived in exile in the U.S. and Europe. But that was one of the things that, one of the questions posed to Raoul Peck about that his films have, the pacing provides space for you to think about what you just seen and reflect on it. And that his desire is that whatever he does, that it's going to have a life longer than just now. Which is this, and he was reflecting on this, what's going on in the world now. With Gaza, I was particularly talking about there's the footage of Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan and the French president. I think what was the French president at that time? Forgetting.
Not Mitterrand.
No, not Mitterrand.
Oh.
No, maybe I think.
Who was it?
Not the socialist president.
Oh, okay. Can't think of it. It's not coming to me.
Yeah, it'll come to me. That they were talking about, we don't want to do sanctions and boycott because in South Africa, because it's really sort of maybe going to hurt the people we really want to help. And it's like, so they're having sanctions on Russia, now in the war with Ukraine, but they won't do it to Israel. It's funny, sort of like the hypocrisy and not consistency. That it's clearly not the case. That they're not really caring about. These are their allies, and they want to support them.
Right.
So this film, because it's not dealing, it's commenting on this historical moment with things that happened before. So if you have a body of work that has those kind of themes and subjects and issues coming up in your work, then over time, you look back and saying, what this film has utility beyond the time it was made.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for
Sure.
this little conversation. I feel like there's so much more I could talk to you about. Like,
Well-
at some point in the future, we need to sit down and talk about your whole experience, because that's how you and I first met, through the fact that you were here. I think for the festival. Do you remember? I know you were at John hosted a dinner party.
Yeah, but that I was passing through.
You were just
here.
passing through then.
Yeah, no, I didn't come to TIFF.
Okay.
Because that was I was going to Vue d'Afrique in Montreal, and so since I was so close, that's my memory, that I stopped through Toronto.
Okay.
And then went on to Vue d'Afrique. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Or did a direction. Or coming back from Buddha Freak, passing through
No,
Toronto
I
way
think
home.
I was. I don't know.
Well, Buddha Freak is in there somewhere. But still,
I
a film
think it was
festival.
Yeah, because it was. What time of year was it? Was it
I can't remember.
April or something? Because April was Vue d'Afrique was in April.
Yeah. It was warm enough and cold enough.
Okay.
I think we had on jackets.
Okay, April is a you need
So
jackets.
April makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
I think that's
Yeah.
how it was. But
But
I
that-
didn't start coming to TIFF until the late to go to Planet Africa
Right.
a couple times.
Right.
Yeah, that would be in the 90s. The first time I did come to TIFF, it wasn't called TIFF then. It was the cinema. What is it called? Film. What was it called? It was another title for the
Oh, wow.
festival.
Never realized that.
Festival of festivals, film something or other.
Oh.
And it was not, it wasn't in this area. It was at a, an art theater, and that was in September. Was it September? Well, this is September now, but
Yeah.
it was later September, and I remember the difference between that then and now, because I had gone to Montreal a lot more, because it was just more accessible. From Philadelphia when I lived there to
Right.
take the train up to Montreal or over a long weekend.
Right.
But Toronto was, I think, more conservative then. And I remember I went to a film. I just looked at the program, and there was a Filipino film that sounded interesting, and I went to the theater and ready to buy a ticket, and the sign on the box office said that the film has been canceled because the censor board that was here, there was a scene of simulated sex with a prostitute, and actually using a bottle, to simulate, I guess, masturbation, and that was against the censorship rules. And they said if in order for the film to be screened, that section would have to have been cut out. And the policy of the festival is that no, we don't do that. We just show the films as they are.
Right.
And so that was my first experience with the festival, and how different it is now.
Right.
They wouldn't do that right now. I mean, I guess the censor board is under control or something. But it was
I don't know if it exists anymore, even like that. I don't know if the censor board exists anymore in that format. Yeah.
But that in Montreal, that wasn't. I don't remember. I remember going to the Montreal festival once, and I don't think that ever came up.
Yeah.
Anything like that, any censored anything about.
Yeah.
So it's certainly around sex and sexuality.
Oh yeah.
So Toronto has changed quite a bit. I mean, probably because of the struggles of activists to change that, and also to be. I mean, I know. I figured that the festival was probably embarrassed. Like, how do we have this festival? We have to invite films, and then we can't show them because we have to censor them.
Yeah, the city's grown up. People have grown up too. Well, thank you. Stop being. Whenever I do these things, people. It's hard to stop because you fabulous people who have fabulous things to say. Interesting lives.
Well, we can continue.
No, but I have to stop filming you so you can. As somebody said to me the other day, they said, it's okay to film a little bit, but after a while it starts to feel like surveillance. Like it's like I'm being monitored the whole time, and I hear that. So I've got to just. And then also they say, and then you're also not really present because you're observatorial. You're sort of observing. A sort of. Because then they become the subject and I become the sort of documenter as opposed to just being in the experience with them. So I'm gonna stop this. I think you gave us quite a bit there. Yeah. I'm just gonna get the. We're gonna go right. Turn right. Going west.
I want to show you
the book.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Since we're close enough, and there'll be a nice way to round up this little thing. So this is the TIFF Industry Center at the Hyatt. Here.
They still have any.
But they have any left?
Yeah, they have any left.
And the roads have been returned to us. People who live here.
This is only closed off in the weekend?
I guess so.
Yeah, literally.
Now it's because this is a thoroughfare for big business. Because down there is where all the big financial centers are. And then a lot of people who service them live along the strip.
Live along.
Yeah, live along King. Because if you go beyond where I'm at Bathurst, even as you walked along there over to Shaw, where John is, right? If you go beyond that, a lot of condos have been built, and a lot of who moved in there are people who basically work in these areas.
Wow.
Right?
So they're very expensive?
No. Relatively. I mean, everything here is expensive now, because it is downtown and it's sort of close to all kinds of amenities. It's a bit more than some other areas of the city. But there's much more expensive areas for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. But Toronto is a crapshoot because even when I was looking, no matter where I looked, it was almost relatively similar pricing. One bedroom is, you're looking at between 500,000 to 7-9, and then and going up from there in terms of 2 and 3 and so on. So this is the pop-up that they might have somewhere. Oh, here.
So is that what you're talking about?
I have a funny. I think we used. No, I could be wrong.
I think you got the.
I could be wrong, but I swear that we used to have this. You pick them up in a bunch of places.
Yeah, I don't think you got these.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Glaze, you'll watch this and you'll settle that. But that's my memory. But I could be wrong. So you're saying you remember a diluted version? That was more...
it would be like more. You just pick them up and you use that as a way to figure out what you want to.
I mean, I remember those.
Capsule, but they weren't the long description.
Exactly, I remember those, but I also remember this. We picked this up to read this to figure out what we're gonna go see.
Okay.
Now, you know what? My memory might be skewed because I might have actually been on a membership thing and maybe got it in the mail or something. That's probably why my memory. That's why I'm saying I'm not. I want to swear by it because it might be that I used to get it because I was sort of connected to the. I am, but they don't send these out anymore, right?
No.
Right. I think you get the link to the on-site platform where you can
they
check them out. Yeah. Yeah. And so, just so people, well, I'm mashing up the place, but yeah, so this is, the details of the film. And it's pretty good. So you like to keep it, right? To have something like this.
I have all of the ones except one. I think I told you I lent to someone. Remember, give it back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are really Village Keeper.
Huh?
Let's see this Village Keeper. It's a Canadian film.
Because they're good to, reference.
What I used to use them for is to then go back and see if I could find the film when it's coming to rep theaters, for example, or if they're screening somewhere that I could almost. Oh, this is one we're gonna go see later, right?
We're gonna see
anywhere,
that one, yeah.
anytime. Anyway, so people get the sense of it, And I actually think I have mine. I think I have all of mine too. The ones I got, I kept them. Well, for most Inside Out, whatever the film festivals, I tend to keep them. Again, because I can go back and go to them and say, hey, let me see if this film is now available.
Yeah, and you, I mean, not to say.
All right, so we're going this way. Yeah, it's not too far. All right, so there you go. A little snap of TIFF lore.
Yesterday you saw her. Today.
We turned up.
Hi, how's it going? You want to record this? Saving lives of children?
We're good. We do it all the time. We contribute.
That's
We're
great.
regular
You
contributors.
wanna do one more time?
We're doing it as we live in our world, day to day. It's coming out of my account every day.
Beautiful.
Take care.